when we had last left Ralof Iceblade, the Northern Crusader. He explored the Bitter Coast region after recovering the Limeware platter. He explored a couple caves, got some really good loot, including a master set of alchemy stuff, and it was awesome. He then, after returning the Limeware platter to the Imperial cult, he returned to Caius and received his next set of orders. He is to speak with some informants in the Vex City, so that he can learn more about the Nerevarine and the Sixth House. Let's get to it. We are, of course, here in Vivec. In between videos, I decided to put some stuff away, do some alchemy, and we are traveling with a lighter load. I don't have all my armor with me. I put some of that away at the Fighters Guild because we're at the big city. We're probably not gonna get into any fights here. We'll be okay, I think. So, but yeah, this is Ralof's first time at the not the Imperial City, at Vivec. Very exciting stuff. So, let's go ahead and refresh ourselves. Okay. Caius sent me to Vivec with 3 tasks. Speak with Adrirnir, a Khajiit Thieves Guild operative in St. Olms. Speak with Hulia, an Argonian in the Foreign Quarter, at the Black Shulk Corner Club. And speak with Mara Milo, a temple priestess at the Hall of Wisdom in the temple compound. When I have information about the Nerevarine cult and the Sixth House cult from these 3, I must report back to Caius. Caius gave me instructions in writing. He also gave us instructions in writing. Ooh. Let's see here. Mission to Vivec from Caius. We didn't read that last time. We should read it. All right. In Vivec, look for these 3 persons and get them to tell you what they know about the Nerevarine cult and the Sixth House cult. Each owes me a favor and each should be willing to cooperate. Adrirnir is a Khajiit and a Thieves Guild operative. She won't be easy to find, but ask around in St. Olms Canton. Folks are easily offended in St. Olms. Be careful what you say. Oh, interesting. A little courtesy, a little coin, a little favor in the right place will get you in touch with her. Hulia is an Argonian and a Morag Tong assassin. Look for him in the Foreign Quarter at the Black Shulk Corner Club. He's known around Vivec City as a lover of books and old things. Mara Milo is a temple priestess who works in the libraries at the Hall of Wisdom and Justice. The Hall of Wisdom and Justice is open to the public. Just walk around until you find her. Do not ask anyone at the Hall of Wisdom and Justice about Mara Milo. I don't want to draw attention to the fact that she is talking to an outlander. Mara Milo is a particular friend, and I don't want her to get in trouble. When you've spoken with each of these persons and gotten what information they can give you, return and report to me. Interesting. I've never read that. I like that he gives you kind of like some advice on how best to get in touch with them. And that little piece of advice about not asking about Mara Milo. Again, this is the first. I don't think I've ever read that note before, so it's kind of cool to see him giving you specific advice that you shouldn't do that. Well, I suspect that because we have the sign of the Drake here, this must be the Foreign Quarter. Yep, Foreign Quarter. It's a good hint. So let's go ahead and... So here we are looking for the Argonian. And he said... What did he say? He's probably at the Black Shulk Corner Club in the Lower Wasteworks. All right, these are the lower Wasteworks. All right. Let's see here. Upper Wasteworks, don't want those. Excuse me.
May you find all that you seek, traveler.
Someone in particular. Here in the Foreign Quarter, you'll find the... Here in the Foreign Quarter, you'll find the Imperial Guilds, Fighters Guild, Mages Guild, and an Imperial Cult Shrine down in the Canal Works. Veterans are... Oh, there's an Imperial Cult Shrine in the Canal Works. Interesting, we may stop there. Veterans are in the Redoran Compound, and Talvani are in the Talvani Compound. Hlalu are in the Hlalu Compound, but also in St. Dalen and St. Olms Cantons. Temple priests, clerks, and ordinators are in the Hall of Wisdom and the Hall of Justice. Some fighters live and train at the arena. Interesting. What's your background? He's a noble. Okay, current events. Always some trouble between outlanders, non-Dunmer Imperial colonists, and the Dunmer natives. Often it just appears to be common theft and crime, but racial and cultural hatreds often lie behind the violence. Interesting. Interesting. Where's the Black Shulk Corner Club? Can you tell me about that? No. What's the deal with St. Olms? They are residence cantons for commoners and paupers. The temple charges very reasonable rents for comfortable workshops, shops, and apartments, and most of Vardenfell's crafts and light industry is housed in these cantons. The Abbey of St. Delen the Wise is on the top tier of St. Delen, and Hlaalu Councillor Ingling Halftroll has a top-tier manor in St. Olms. That sounds like a Nord name. Interesting. Okay, well, let's have a look around, shall we? So we got an apothecary here. That's not what we're looking for. Another apothecary, except this one's called an alchemist. Joe Bosch's rare books. No, thank you. Oh, that might be it over there. Okay. Black Shulk Corner Club.
Go ahead.
Some rough-looking characters here.
I will listen, Outlander, but make it quick. Probably nothing.
Don't like the look of this. Julia, I've been looking for you.
Another
Questions again.
I welcome you as the friend of my friend Rayloff Iceblade, but I wish to go to my friend's bookstore, and these troublesome fools are in my way. I have tried to persuade them, but they hate my race, and I fear there will be violence. Perhaps if you speak with them, but be careful and be ready. Your friend's bookstore? My friend, Joe Basha the Khajiit, has a bookstore. Joe Basha's rare books. If you will agree to travel together with me there, I will answer your questions. But before we go, I beg you to try to persuade these troublesome fools to leave us alone. Otherwise, I fear they will attack us the moment we go to leave. Troublesome fools. The sight of a free Argonian offends these racist thugs. It would tarnish my Morag Tong honor to slay them, and I don't want to trouble my friend Seralis Golmus by fighting in his club. But I must go to my friend's bookstore where we can talk in peace. If you have a way with words, perhaps you can talk to them. Or if you have a way with money, they might be bought. Otherwise, I fear there must be bloodshed. Oh. I'm pretty sure I can take care of this. Am I talking to you, Fetcher? No, I am talking to the filthy lizard, so push off. Blah, blah, blah. You can stay here forever for all I care, not my problem. There we go. Easy enough. Let's do the same thing to all of them. Oh, okay, who gives a damn about the lizard? Okay, great.
May you find
They're not
me
there.
worthy of your
Problem solved. Let's go. Will you travel with me to Jobasha's rare books? We leave the door to the Foreign Quarter Wasteworks, turn right, west, continue down the hall and across the atrium on the same level, then follow the opposite corridor west of the other side of the atrium, all the way to Jobasha's door. I must warn you, unless these troublesome fools are persuaded to behave like civilized beings, there may be fighting and killing if we try to travel together. Yeah, follow me. We're good. Thank you, Rayloff Iceblade. I will follow you to Jobasha's rare books, and we will speak further there. Let's get going.
wealth beyond measure, Outlander.
Mm-hmm, sure. Racist thugs. All right, let's get going. It was just across the way, as we saw.
We're watching
You scum. Yes, nice. Awesome. They're watching us. Come on. Come on, Julia. Okay, good. All right. Jobasha's rare books. Great. Yes, thank you very much. We should be free from distraction here. Now, I said I'd tell you about the Nerevarine cult so you can report back to Caius. And I don't know of any Sixth House cult, but I can tell you what I do know. Sure, tell me about both of them. All right. To understand the Nerevarine cult, you must understand the history of the Ashlanders. Nerevar means something very different to the Ashlanders from what he means to Dunmer of the Great Houses. You should also know about the persecution of the Nerevarine and the legacy of the False Incarnate, for the Nerevarine cult is at the heart of the ancient conflict between the nomadic Ashlanders and the settled Great House Dunmer. Here is a summary for Caius, but ask your questions and I'll answer in detail. Okay, so we got a lot of different things to talk about here. Let's talk about history of the Ashlanders first. First, I'm gonna drink some coffee. In the First Era, the nomadic Ashlanders and the settled Dunmer clans were much alike. But after the First Council and the formation of the Great Houses, Ashlanders have been steadily forced into the poorest and most hostile lands. Now the nomadic tribes look to the prophesied return of Nerevar for a restoration of their ancient rites and religious traditions. Tell me about the Great House Dunmer. In modern times, Morrowind is ruled by 5 great houses: House Lalu, House Redoran, House Talvani, House Enderil, and House Dress. Great House culture is partly defined by its roots in ancient Dunmer tribal clans and partly by later imperial influences from other Western cultures. The Great House's culture is only one of the native Dunmer cultures of Morrowind. The other native culture, the Ashlander culture, is a nomadic barbarian culture largely untouched by imperial influences. Largely, but not completely. Because they probably still have to trade with, with the settled culture and with the settled culture, and yeah. So, they probably still have to use imperial coin. So largely untouched, but not completely. Persecution of the Nerevarine. The temple treats the Nerevarine prophecies as heresy, and the temple imprisons and executes heretics, unless prevented by imperial law. But since the Nerevarine cult is hostile to the Empire does not interfere when the temple persecutes the cult. Ashlanders hate the temple, and particularly the Ordinators, for their ruthless treatment of Nerevarine cultists. Legacy of the False Incarnate. In the past, some have claimed to be the reincarnated Nerevar. The most recent is known as Peakstar, a figure of legend among the Waste tribes for the last 30 years. The temple says these false incarnates disprove the prophecies, since the false incarnates fail and come to nothing. But the mystical Nerevarine cult glorifies rather than shrinks from contradictions, citing the appearance of failed incarnates as certain proof of Nerevar's coming rebirth. Okay, tell me about the Nerevarine cult. Okay, you gave us a summary.
Tidings, Nord.
Thank you. Let's take a look at the summary real fast. Yeah, this episode's gonna be a lot of reading, a lot of talking, but it's all very important for the main quest. So, notes from Julia. Okay. Yeah, we'll give this a read. So the history of the Ashlanders and the Nerevarine cult. In First Era barbaric Dunmer culture, settled Dunmer clans, which is a very loaded way of looking at them as barbaric, right? That's using the word barbaric there is showing a very particular bias. Anyway, settled Dunmer clans, the Great Houses, and nomadic Dunmer tribes, like the Ashlanders, were roughly equal in numbers and wealth. Under the civilized peace of the Grand Council and with the strong central authority of the temple, the economic and military power of the settled Dunmer quickly outstripped that of the nomadic Dunmer. Okay, so this is some information that he didn't tell us. So this is actually good to read. The nomadic Dunmer, oh shit, I lost my place. There it is. The nomadic Dunmer were marginalized into the poorest, most hostile land, in particular, into the Vardenfell wastes. For the Ashlanders, the return of a reincarnated Nerevar represents a longed-for and largely romanticized golden age of Nerevar's peace, when the nomadic tribes enjoyed equality with the settled Dunmer, and before the Dunmer people had, for the most part, abandoned traditional ancestor worship for the autocratic theocracy of the tribunal temple. And some coffee real fast. The Nerevar of the Ashlanders. This is the story of Nerevar as an Ashlander might tell it. Okay, so he's very upfront that this is being told from a very particular point of view. In ancient days, the Deep Elves and a great host of Outlanders from the west came to steal the land of the Dunmer. In that time, Nerevar was the great Khan and war leader of the House people, but he honored the ancient spirits and the tribal law and became as one of us. So, when Nerevar pledged upon his great ring of the ancestors, one clan under moon and star, it's quite the name for a ring, to honor the ways of the spirits and rights of the land, all the tribes joined the House people to fight a great battle at Red Mountain. Though many Dunmer, tribesmen and housemen, died at Red Mountain, the Dwemer were defeated, and their evil magics destroyed, and the Outlanders driven from the land. But after this great victory, the power-hungry Khans of the great houses slew Nerevar in secret and, setting themselves up as gods, neglected Nerevar's promises to the tribes. But it is said that Nerevar will come again with his ring and cast down the false gods, and by the power of his ring will make good his promises to the tribes, to honor the spirits and drive the outsiders from the land. Persecution of the Nerevarine cult. The Tribunal Temple regards the mysticism and prophecy of the Nerevarine cult as primitive superstition. The Ashlander ancestor cults and the Nerevarines in particular have always decried the worship of living Dunmer as abominations, suspecting the unnatural lifetimes of the tribunal to be signs of profane sorcery or necromancy. Though the authoritarian and intolerant temple priesthood has always been inclined to tolerate Ashlander ancestor cult practices, they have always threatened Nerevarine claimants with death or imprisonment. And while generally tolerant of various cult worships, the Imperial Commission of the Occupation outlaws cults hostile to the Emperor and the Empire, and threatens members of such cults with imprisonment or death. The Ordinators are allowed a free hand when dealing with outlawed cults, like the Nerevarines. Peakstar and other incarnates in the past. In the past, others have claimed to be the reincarnated Nerevar of prophecy. The most recent is known as Peakstar, a mysterious figure who has reportedly appeared and disappeared among the Waste tribes over the last 30 years. The temple notes that these false incarnates discredit the Nerevarine prophecies. Singularly and illogically, the Ashlanders acknowledge a history of false claimants, calling them failed incarnates, but they regard them as proof of the validity of the prophecies rather than contradiction. Among the Nerevarines, there is a fable of a cavern of the incarnates where the spirits of the failed incarnates dwell. The Nerevarine cult is a mystical cult, and it glorifies rather than shrinks from contradictions. So by Ashlander logic, you could be a Nerevarine, but fail to realize your destiny, which is super interesting.
Go ahead.
All right, I do want to find this temple, though. I think they said it was in the Canal Works. The Imperial cult should be down in the Canal Works. We'll get a quick little blessing before we continue our undercover work. This is probably it over here, right? A clothier. Oh, well, this could actually be Agrippa Herenia. Clothier.
Go ahead, stranger.
Hello there. What do you want? I want you to like me. Now you like me. Okay. Let's see here. I wish we had poofy pants. We have a poofy shirt. I want poofy pants to go with it, but I don't think that's a thing. Unless these are poofy pants. Are these poofy? Oh, they're expensive. Ooh. I don't want those pants then. It's kind of crazy. Oh well. Goodbye. Farewell. What is this? A trader? What is this? Foreign Quarter Tomb.
Watch yourself. We'll
Ah.
have no trouble here.
Hello there, Ordinator. Guardsman.
Go about your business, but I'm watching you.
Oh, come on. You gotta like me. There we go. Raises disposition to 63. Any rumors?
I've heard that Balin Andrano over in the Redoran section has had a real tough time lately. He's using a lot of business.
Oh. Well, that's a shame for him. A little advice?
If all it takes is a little persuasion, a flask of Talvani bug musk is what you need. Makes even an orc charming.
Little secret. Don't be such a yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Where is the Hall of Justice? Where is the Hall of Wisdom, actually?
The Hall of Wisdom and Hall of Justice contain the executive, administrative, judicial, and martial operations of the Tribunal Temple. They're in the Temple Canton of Vivek.
Good to know. That doesn't tell me where the Temple Canton is, though, so... Hello there. Welcome to Vivek, Rayloff Iceblade. I'm Latrius... Latrius... Mucho. I don't know. Mucho more. Okay, anyway, sorry. Are you looking for services in the Sacred City? Maybe I can help. Every canton has its own services. If you're with an Imperial Guild, go to the Foreign Quarter. If you serve a great house, go to the Hlalu Compound, Redoran Compound, or Talvani Compound. If you belong to the temple, go to the High Fane. Beyond that, there are many independent smiths, traders, alchemists, clothiers, booksellers, craftsmen, tradesmen, and trainers of all sorts in all the cantons. You just have to look around. Training. He trains in alteration, mysticism, and restoration. We don't have a lot of gold. Oh yeah, I did spend a lot of gold on training between videos, so raised my alchemy and my destruction and my armorer skills. Okay. What have you got for barter? Some potions. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's get a blessing. Would you like to make a donation of 0 and receive a blessing? Yes, absolutely. Just for funsies, we'll say restore attributes. We didn't really need it, but it was free. So that's pretty cool, right? We like free things. All right, so that is Hulia taken care of. So we got Hulia, so now we have to talk to Adrianir and Mara Milo. And Adrianir is in St. Olms. Let's see if we can find this, St. Olms. I wonder if we can exit out into the world from here, from the canal works. I don't think so, but... No, probably not, huh? Doesn't look like it. Okay, well, that's fine.
If you're here
Oh,
for trouble,
jeez.
you'll get more than you bargain for.
I believe you. Okay. Let's go out this door. Kind of the way we came. All right, so let's go back down here. All right, so I see another canton over there. So we need St. Olms. I don't know how to read Daedric, so I don't know if that's it or not. Could be it. Oh, athletics increased to 43. Very nice. And athletics is speed. Gotta go fast. All right. So fun fact, I've actually never played any of the Sonic games. I've also never played any of the Mario games, which I feel like most people probably played as a kid, but I never played them. Let's see here. This is Redoran Canton. This is the arena. which sounds interesting, but we have a job to do right now. We're not here on holiday. Oh, who's this? A boat person, perhaps? Maybe they could take us to St. Olms. We'll walk to them and get some of our fatigue back. Hello there, where do you go? I'm Dulce Audrin, the gondolier. What is your destination? I can also help with local information. Do you need services? Are you looking for some specific place or for someone in particular? Where can you take me? So you can take me to the temple, Telvanni, Foreign Quarter, Hlalu. Okay, maybe I'll keep you in mind for the temple later.
Outlander.
Actually, you know what? Let's go to the temple now, I think. Only 2 gold pieces. Very rainy day. Fun fact, when I'm recording this, here in SoCal, we also have a lot of rain going on. A lot of rain. I woke up to some heavy-ass rain this morning.
Quickly, Outlander, or go away.
So right now, SoCal looks a lot like this. All right, so we're looking for what? The Hall of Wisdom? Yes, Hall of Wisdom. So let's see here. Hall of Justice, not what we're looking for. All right, and we have to remember, Caius does not want us asking around about her. We just have to look around on our own. Which apparently nobody will mind. All right, Hall of Wisdom. Want to go inside the Hall of Wisdom?
Quickly, Outlander. I haven't much time.
Okay, let's see here. Library of Vivek?
Not now, Outlander. Head on.
I don't have a lot of patience for questions,
watching.
Outlander.
Hello.
Scum.
Hello, Mara. Yes, I'm Mara Milo. Kaya sent you? Follow me to the back of the library. We can't talk here. Oh, okay. All right. Oh.
There's someone watching me. I can tell.
She's a little paranoid. Go ahead. I'm afraid I don't know anything about the Sixth House cult, but I can tell you about the Nerevarine cult. Sure. Okay. The temple worships Nerevar as a saint and hero, but prophecies of his reincarnation are punished as wicked heresy. Yes, as we've been told. The Nerevarine cult claims the tribunal are false gods, hence the temple's persecution of the Nerevarine cult. A group called the Dissident Priests disputes temple doctrine on the Nerevarine prophecies. The prescribed book, Progress of Truth, describes their beliefs. Get a copy of Progress of Truth for Caius Casades. That will tell him things he needs to know about the Nerevarine cult. Interesting. What was this about the tribunal being false gods? Almalexia, Vivek, and Sothasil are mortal guardians who walked the earth, defeated the Dunmer's greatest enemies, the Nords and the Dwarves, and achieved divine substance through superhuman discipline and virtue and through supernatural wisdom and insight. So it sounds like she still believes in the tribunal, or she might just be giving us the tribunal line, you know. Doesn't want to get in trouble, so. What was this about dissident priests? The dissident priests dispute temple doctrine and are outlawed and persecuted by the temple. Ordinators arrest and imprison heretics, and the Empire cannot interfere. Progress of Truth lists their beliefs. In brief, they challenge the purity and divinity of the tribunal, suggesting their powers are sorcerous, not divine, and perhaps akin to the powers of Dagoth-Ur. They also condemn the arbitrary power of the Ordinators and accuse the temple hierarchy of self-interest and corruption. Who is Dagoth-Ur? He is the immortal enemy of the tribunal temple cult. The temple holds Dagoth-Ur and his hosts accountable for all the evils that beset the Dunmer and Morrowind. Dagoth-Ur dwells in fiery caverns beneath Red Mountain, served by his kin, called ash vampires, and by legions of deformed monsters. So they accuse the temple of being evil like Dagoth-Ur? Or just that their powers are similar to his? Progress of Truth. This book lists the disputes of the dissident priests with the tribunal temple doctrines. The temple has outlawed the sale or possession of the book, so it will be hard to find. We have a copy here, but I fear I'm being watched by ordinators here. A safer plan would be to search local booksellers. Some booksellers ignore temple bans on outlawed books for profits or for principles. You're being watched by the guards? I do not care for temple politics, but I have read Progress of Truth and it troubles me. I have friends, former priests, who have gone into hiding, so I am bound to come to the attention of the ordinators. I am careful, but I'm afraid. I'm no secret agent like you or Caius. Sooner or later, I too must go into hiding, if it is not too late. When you return to Caius, tell him I am worried, and that if something goes wrong, I will leave a message under the agreed code word, Amaya. Good to know. All right, we're actually gonna take a break here, because I really need to use the bathroom, so I'll be back in a bit. All right, I am back. Okay, so
We're watching.
we do. Chances are that Joe Bosch's Rare Books. I'm not gonna lie. I know Joe Bosch's Rare Books has the book. But we're not gonna do that right now.
Go ahead.
We'll make our way back to the foreign quarter soon enough. But first, we need to find. I think it was St. Olm's Canton. Okay, so let's. Actually, yeah, I forgot to. Let's read what we've written so far. So Hulia hadn't heard of a sixth house cult, but he knew a lot about the Nerevarine cult. He gave me notes to give to Caius. The main thing I gathered is that the temple's conflict with the Nerevarine cult is tied up with ancient grievances between the Ashlanders and the Great Houses. I found Mara Milo at the Hall of Wisdom, but she says she cannot talk with me. She must feel she is being watched. She says to meet with me in the back of the library. I found Mara Milo in the back of the library. She says she knows nothing about the sixth house, but she is willing to answer my questions about the Nerevarine cult. Mara Milo says the temple persecutes the Nerevarine cult because they claim the tribunal are false gods. A group called the Dissident Priests disputes temple doctrine on the Nerevarine prophecies. A book, Progress of Truth, describes the beliefs of the Dissident Priests. Mara Milo says I must get a copy of Progress of Truth to give to the Spy Master. Mara Milo says copies of Progress of Truth can be found in the secret libraries of the Hall of Wisdom, but that they are guarded. She says it will be safer to search booksellers for a copy. She says some booksellers will sell outlawed books. Mara Milo says to tell Caius Casades that she is worried that she is being watched by ordinators, and that if something goes wrong, she will leave a message under the agreed code word, Amaya. All right. Anyway, that's not why I opened this. So now we need to find Adrianir, and she is in St. Olm's somewhere. So I don't know if this is St. Olm's or not. Let's see here. It is! Perfect! All right, so we'll just have to ask around and be careful. And I'm sure we'll find her. St. Olm's Wasteworks. Not gonna ask a guard about her. That would be a silly thing to do indeed. Excuse me.
Speak, traveler.
It's not bad when you know your way around, Ralof Iceblade. What are you looking for in Vivek?
I'm actually looking for somebody. Do you know an Adrianir?
Okay. I know Adrianir, and if I know Adrianir, she'll be staying out of sight as long as that census and excise ancient is lurking about. Probably down in Underworks. Look for trap doors down from the Canal Works level.
Underworks?
These are the Cantons sewers. Go out and look over the side. You can see the outflow drains under the water. Very nice place, yes indeed.
Yeah, the sewers. Great, wonderful. So we have to go crawling in the sewers. Everybody loves a sewer level. Interesting artwork. I believe this is Saint Veloth leading his people here to Morrowind. Got some ancestral worship going on here. Underworks. That guy over there looks rather dangerous. I'm gonna quick save. We're gonna try to avoid him if we can, because we're not fully armored, so we're not really ready for a fight. Okay, we're good. Rats we can handle, but a guy who's fully armored in all steel, not a good idea to fight him. Ah! This must be her. Hello, Adrianir.
Speak now or leave now.
Great. So Caius says to you, speak with Adrianir, and you have done this thing. You are speaking with Adrianir. But Adrianir will not talk to you about the Nerevarine or the Sixth House cult. And because why? Because Adrianir is, at this moment, very distracted by a nice census and excise agent who also wants to speak with her. Who is this agent? You do not know this? They are the collectors of the Emperor's taxes and tariffs. And the Emperor has outlawed trade in many things, like Dwemer artifacts and ebony, and a census and excise agent will enjoy being a pest about such things. For several reasons, a census and excise agent is not Adrianir's favorite person. If you want Adrianir to help you, make the bad agent go away. Then she will tell you things. Alright, I can do that. Let's use our powers of persuasion, but first we'll kill a rat. Rat! Surprisingly strong rat. Oh, it was blighted. Yeah, don't touch that corpse. Blighted rat. Only got a sick. Alright. Let's go up here. Ooh, no. This way. Well, that fellow over there looks rather important.
Let's hear it.
Hello there. I'm looking for a friend of mine, a female Khajiit named Adrianir. Do you know where I can find her? Yeah. Yes, her name is Adrianir and she is a Khajiit. Do you know where I can find her? Yeah, she just took a gondola to the mainland. What a disappointment. But thank you for your time. I was just heading back to the mainland myself anyway, and maybe I'll run into her there. Great. Farewell. Alright, so that should give her a little bit more space to operate. I'm not a fan of helping out a criminal, but we gotta get this information, so. Let's go down here. Alright, I took care of your problem, Adrianir.
It comes me. What does it want?
Alright, so, are you the one Adrianir must thank for getting rid of that annoying census and excise agent? Indeed, Adrianir is very glad to see you, and very happy to tell a friend of my good friend Caius all about the Sixth House cult. And Adrianir knows nothing about the Nerevarine, but Adrianir is happy to tell you that too, if it makes Caius happy. Ask away, friend Rayloff Iceblade. Tell me about the cult. This Adrianir knows about, because it is about smuggling. Some smart smugglers are suddenly too busy for their old clients, because they have a new employer, the Sixth House, who pays very well. But what do they smuggle now? Adrianir doesn't know, because they are very secret. And this is odd, because these smugglers are always loud and bragging. And now they hush up like fat-bellied kitties full of sweet meats. Very interesting way of putting it. Smuggling is big business. The Empire says we can't trade skooma, moon sugar, ebony, Dwemer artifacts, exotic Dwemer weapons and armor, and slaves. So smugglers trade these things. Smugglers also smuggle grief, shine, and sujama to avoid imperial tax. And now the Sixth House hires smugglers though what they smuggle, Adrianir cannot say. Well, you said you don't know much about the Nerevarine. Or nothing really, but apparently there's something to say about it. Yes, Adrianir knows this Nerevarine cult is just silly superstition. So you tell Caius this. Nobody in their right mind pays any attention to this moon yowling, prophecies and ancient heroes, reborn and other silliness, fuzzy tales for little kitties. Interesting. Thank you for your take. I tend to agree with you, actually. This Nerevarine cult does sound like a load of nonsense. It's unclear to me why Caius cares about this, or why knowing about this benefits the Empire. The sixth house sounds like trouble, though, from what she's said so far.
Here not long ago.
But still, I'm not sure why the Blades are interested in this. Very odd. I think that's the arena, right? We should get the gondola again. We should find the gondola and... Oh, shit. Ah, here we go. All right. So let's find the gondola. Take it to the foreign quarter. There we go. Right over there. Do a little jump. Hello there.
Speak, traveler.
Yes, I want to go to the foreign quarter. Thank you. Perfect. All right. So we need to go to Joe Bosch's rare books and purchase the Progress of Truth. Okay. All right, let's see here. No, that's not it. It's on the other side. Okay. All right, here we go. Joe Bosch's rare books. Good to see you, Julia. Good to see you, Julia. Ooh, there's an ordinator in here. Oh, goodness. All right. Let's take a quick restore fatigue potion. So that we're not huffing and puffing when we talk to Joe Boscha.
Let's not make this official, Outlander. Move along.
Ugh. Do you feel comfortable with this ordinator here? Why is this? That's not good.
Go about your business, but I'm watching you.
Why are you here? Background?
I'm an ordinator.
Mm-hmm. Can I get my trade? No, I didn't think so. Morrowind lore?
Morrowind is an imperial province, though the Treaty of Armistice lets the Dunmer Great House councils control most local government functions.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's a good idea for us to purchase Progress of Truth with him standing here. Let's wait an hour. All right, good. He walked away. Okay.
What do you want?
I want the Progress of Truth. Pilgrim's Path. Wild Elves. Vampires of Ardenfell. Changed ones. Progress of Truth. Ooh, it's quite expensive, but sure. A little extra for your discretion. All right. Best not read this book here. That would be very unwise. Let's go to
my rights and duties.
Let's go to the council club and read it there, where there are no ordinators. Don't need them seeing us reading this heretical book. The spy work is also
Tell your
thirsty
friends
work.
about this place.
Good day, I'm Raul Giral, publican of the Black Shalt Corner Club here in Vivek. We rent beds and I have a limited selection of goods for barter. If you're new here, I can also tell you where to look for other services or a specific place nearby. If you're looking for someone in particular, I may be able to help.
A bed would be nice, a little privacy.
Yes, we have one available. It's 10 gold for the rest of the day. Do you want it?
Yes.
Great, the bed is yours. Enjoy your stay.
Anything to drink? Nothing but dark elf drinks. You don't have any mead? A proper drink? Well, we'll take some bread. And the scuttle for making potions later. We got plenty of salt rice. Picked up some salt rice from some random crates while we were in Balmora, so we're good on that. All right, we'll go to our bed. There we go. Oh, it's a big, spacious room. That's nice. That's awesome. Heck yeah, I love that. Ooh, hackle low. More salt rice. Hackle low. And a little extra salt rice. Okay. Well, let's have a seat, so to speak. We'll imagine we're sitting and we'll read the progress of truth. No, where is it? There it is. How long is it? Only 10 pages. Okay. Progress of Truth, compiled by the dissident priests. Excerpt concerning the points of the temple doctrine challenged by the dissident priests. 1. The divinity of the tribunal. Temple doctrine claims their apotheosis was miraculously achieved through questing, virtue, knowledge, testing, and battling with evil. Temple doctrine claims their divine powers and immortality are ultimately conferred as a communal judgment by the Dunmer ancestors, including, among others, the good Daedra, the prophet Veloth, and Saint Nerevar. Dissident priests ask whether Dagoth Ur's powers and the tribunal powers might ultimately derive from the same source, Red Mountain. Sources in the Apocrypha suggest that the tribunal relied on profanely enchanted tools to achieve godhood, and that those unholy devices were the ones originally created by the ungodly Dwemer sorcerer Kagranak to create the false construct Numidium. I mean, this line right here, questing, virtue, knowledge, testing, and battling with evil, that's basically how Tiber Septim achieved godhood as Talos. More or less. He ascended to godhood. He was a great man. He ascended to godhood. So Rayloff's not quite so sure what to make of this part. Because if Talos can achieve godhood this way, why not 3 Dark Elves? Why not 3 Dunmer? Alright, number 2, the purity of the tribunal. The dissident priests say that the temple has always maintained a public face, represented by the hieroglypha, the priestly writings, and a hidden face, represented by the apographa, the hidden writings. The public account portrays the actions of the tribunal in a heroic light, while the hidden writings reveal secrets, untruths, inconsistencies, conflicting accounts and varying interpretations which hint at darker and less heroic motives and actions of the tribunes. In particular, conflicting accounts of the battle at Red Mountain raise questions about the tribunal's conduct and about the source of their subsequent apotheosis. Also, there is good evidence that the tribunal have been concealing the true nature of the threat posed by Dagoth Ur at Red Mountain, misleading the people about the tribunal's ability to protect Morrowind from Dagoth Ur, and concealing a recent dramatic diminishing of the tribunal's magical powers. So up until now, I think Rayloff, he has talked to a couple of people about Dagoth Ur, and it just sounds like a boogie. To him, it just sounded like a boogeyman. Like, oh yeah, he's in Red Mountain. You can't see him. He's in Red Mountain, but he's the source of all our problems. So up until now, it's just sounded like kind of a boogeyman to him. But this makes Dagoth Ur sound more real, if even the tribunal acknowledge him. But then again, it could just be that the tribunal is like, has constructed a boogeyman, a scapegoat for all their problems. So Rayloff's still not quite sure what to make of Dagoth Ur. Number 3, temple accounts of the Battle of Red Mountain. Ashlander tradition does not place the tribunal at Red Mountain and holds that the Dwemer destroyed themselves, rather than that Nerevar destroyed them. Ashlander tradition further holds that Nerevar left Dagothar guarding the profane secrets of Red Mountain while Nerevar went to confer with the Grand Council, i.e. the tribunal, that Nerevar died at the conference. Not of his wounds, according to the Ashlanders, but from treachery. And that subsequently the tribunal confronted a defiant Dagothar within Red Mountain, then drove Dagothar beneath Red Mountain when he would not yield to their will. Number 4, veneration of the Daedra, saints and ancestors. While challenging the divinity of the tribunal, the dissidents do not challenge the sainthood or heroism of the tribunal. In fact, the dissident priests advocate restoring many of the elements of fundamentalist ancestor worship as practiced by the Ashlanders and by Saint Baloth. Exactly how this would work is debated inconclusively within the dissident priests. So would that include restoring worship of the Daedra? Ralof doesn't like that. Number 5, denial of the prophecies of the Incarnate and persecution of the Nerevarines. Though no consensus exists among the dissidents about whether the Nerevarine prophecies are genuine, all agree that the persecution of the Nerevarines is unjust and politically motivated. The dissident priests do not reject mysticism, revelation, or prophecy as part of the religious experience. The dissidents have not resolved the issue of true or false insights. They have studied the mysticism of the Ashlander ancestor cults, in particular the rites of the Ashlander seers and wise women, and the prophecies of the Incarnate. Many among the dissident priests have come to believe that the Nerevarine prophecies are genuine, and have made a systematic study of prophecies recorded in temple archives. 6. Authority of the Archcanon and the Ordinators. The dissident priests reject the authority of the Archcanon and the Ordinators. The temple hierarchy has been corrupted by self-interest and politics, and no longer acts in the best interests of the temple or its worshippers. The dissident priests believe the Archcanon and Ordinators speak for themselves, not for the tribunal. And this is where it becomes obvious to Ralof exactly why the temple doesn't like them. Why the temple doesn't like the dissident priests. Beyond what appear to be heretical beliefs, they pose a political threat. They don't like the temple. They oppose the temple. They oppose the people in charge of the temple. So they see them as a threat to power. And that is why they don't like the dissident priests. 7. The Inquisition and the use of terror and torture by the Ordinators. Within the temple hierarchy, it is an open secret that the Ordinators rely on abduction, terror, torture, and secret imprisonment to discourage heresy and dissent. The dissident priests feel the Ordinators are either out of control or tools used to maintain a corrupt priesthood in power. 8. Fundamentals of temple doctrine. Charity for the poor, education for the ignorant, protection for the weak. Though the dissident priests acknowledge that most rank-and-file priests honor the best traditions of the temple, they believe that many priests in higher ranks are interested more in love of authority and luxury than in the welfare of the poor, weak, and ignorant. Interesting read. Yeah. That's why the temple doesn't like them. Because the dissident priests are inconvenient. They question the authority of those who are currently in power. So they're persecuted. They're seen as a political threat, not just a religious threat. Although the two are kind of intertwined in Morrowind. Practically inseparable because this is a theocracy. An autocratic theocracy, if we're being really specific, like one of the notes that we read said. Anyway, let's go ahead and sleep, and then we'll head back to Caius. Oh shit! We got a weird dream, and I'm coughing up a storm. An ash storm? Anyway. In your dream, a tall figure with a golden mask greeted you, saying, "There are many rooms in the house of the master. Be easy, for from the hands of your enemies I have delivered you." It seemed you had died and could see yourself laid upon a table lit by candles. But with your own hands you touched the figure, and the figure drew breath, opened eyes, and rose from the table. Then the room was gone, and the world filled with light, and you awoke. Another fucking bizarre dream. Ugh, barely got any sleep. I was asleep for a little bit and then I just woke up. Keep getting these strange dreams. I don't understand. Again. You dreamed that a tall figure with a golden mask spoke to you, but you understood not a word. He smiled and seemed pleasant. But when he reached to touch you, it terrified you, and you tried to escape, but you couldn't move. You tried to cry out, but you couldn't make a sound. The figure kept smiling and talking, but you felt sure he was trying to cast some sort of spell on you. When you woke, you couldn't recall how the dream ended. Okay, let's try to get a little more rest. Rayloff doesn't feel great. Doesn't understand why he keeps seeing these weird dreams. It's always the same figure. A man in a golden mask.
Probably nothing.
Very strange indeed. At any rate, let's get back to Caius and report what we've learned.
How are you?
All right. Caius, I have much to report. Are you here to discuss your orders, Rayloff Iceblade, or is there something else you want? I have your report, and I'll make copies of your notes from Hulia and the Progress of Truth. Give me time to read and digest all this. In the meantime, I'm promoting you to Journeyman. Ooh, Journeyman of the Blades. You're doing good work, and here are 200 drakes. Go out and treat yourself to a new pair of shoes. And go do some jobs for the guilds or other freelance work, just to keep your cover story current. Or get some training. Then, when you're fit and rested, come back, and I'll have new orders for you. Okay, well, I guess that's it for now. Thank you, sir. All right, well, that is gonna do it for the day. We're gonna do what he said and do some adventuring for a little while to keep our cover story current. So in the next episode, we are going to return to the mainland and speak with the priest over in Old Ebonheart. Let him know that the play is on, and then we're going to seek Fighters Guild in a different city after we finish up there. Unless there's more stuff to do for the temple while we're there. If there is, we're going to do that before we go to another city for more Fighters Guild stuff. We also need to do more, what do you call it? What do you call it? I can't find the word. Legion. More Imperial Legion Guild questing as well. But yeah, lots of things to do to keep our cover story current. At any rate, thank you so much for joining me. Until the next episode, I hope you have a great week. Bye-bye.